All right, what's going on, team? It's Ryan Ogren back here again. Got another banger for you today, just to steal Jeremy Haynes' intro. Today, we're going to go through the perfect nurture sequence, and I'm going to actually show you. I have some screenshots here on my screen that I'm going to show you guys how to actually implement this so you understand how to properly nurture a lead on whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, cold email, or X, or any other platform that you actually have to nurture a cold lead to getting them on a call or getting them to purchase or whatever. So before we get into it, if you guys have never heard of me before, I'm Ryan Ogren. I'm the founder of Money Make Marketing, a former pro baseball player turned private equity investor. Just sold my portfolio earlier this year in April. It wasn't like a big institutional buyout, but it was a successful exit. Sold it for more than what I bought it for. So in my book, that's successful. And I have a new marketing agency called Money Make Marketing. And we only take on clients that we really want to work with. We don't have to take on clients that we just hate or that people are just like not good business owners and expect the world from us. We make our clients a lot of money. So I'm not saying that we're scared of people that have high expectations, but we just get to pick and choose who we want to work with. And being in that situation has just been a true blessing for us. So anyways, if you want to work with us or you think you like this strategy, drop a like and a comment below. Maybe ask us a question, but I'll leave our website below. If you guys want to apply to work with us, you can certainly do so there. But without further ado, let's get into it. So this nurture sequence, the perfect nurture sequence, it works for anything. The examples you're going to see is coming from our specific lead magnet that we are sending to our dream clients, people that we really want to work with. And these are medical device companies that have sales teams. As you guys know, medical device, it's probably one of it's high ticket. It's extremely high ticket. And they have a lot of sales reps. But the sales reps are horrible marketers, right? And so there's manufacturers and there's distributors. Most manufacturers just trying to go through distributors, and these distributors have existing relationships, but they really just don't have good marketing prowess. And those distributors, that's all they are. They're not marketers, they're distributors. So, marketing principles work really well for them because most distributors have actual sales reps or 1099s, or they are 1099s themselves. So we use this nurture sequence to get them as clients for ourselves, but also we use them for our clients to nurture prospects so we can get quotes out to hospitals, physicians, you name it, right? So the perfect nurture sequence, it has principles. I'll speak through principles first, and then we'll go through tactics themselves. All right, so the perfect nurture sequence. So where does this actually fit in? So the very first thing before we actually get into this, we send a lead magnet first. Okay, and a lead magnet is just like a quick video, could be a PDF, could be a guide. The reason is we want them to raise their hand. How good your lead magnet, how good it is very, very dependent on how successful you'll be in this nurture sequence. We have very good lead magnets. Most of our lead magnets are service-based or even just like strategy-based. Like we'll actually build a full marketing strategy and pitch it to these people before they even like get on a call with us, right? So it's just very valuable. It's very useful for these people, for our prospects. And so that's why they see it as value. And that's the very first piece of this puzzle, okay? So that's step number one. We'll actually do a cold outreach and just say, hey, we have a quick lead magnet. Can we send it over to you? They say yes. We want as many people to raise their hand as possible because I know we're going to be able to get them on a call eventually with this nurture sequence, okay? It might not be the first go through. It might have to be a couple iterations, but eventually we'll get them on a call, okay? And that's kind of the mindset you also have to have. It's not like, oh, this didn't work. They didn't respond to one message. No, the mindset is this is going to work eventually. I just have to keep iterating on this cycle, and I'll show you this in a second. So now we know that they just raised their hand. They said, yes, let's send over what you got, Ryan. Absolutely. Cool. Let's check it out. Now we are into the game. So people screw up because they don't segment their marketing even more. We want to segment our marketing as much as we possibly can because now we can personalize at scale, right? And I learned this from my mentor, Jeremy Haynes, when he's talking about the email matrix SOP that he has. If you guys don't know what that is, I very much urge you to go check out his stuff. He's very, very active on YouTube. But anyways, the reason we segment this list is we want to find similarities between specific leads because we want to tailor our nurture sequence to them specifically, okay? And when we're building trust assets, we want the trust assets that align where we actually have content, when we're building value, we want to have value that actually aligns with them more specifically than somebody else, right? So we need to segment this accordingly. So for us, an example of this, there's medical tech companies, medical technology companies that are not technically medical devices. There's medical device manufacturers that are low ticket. that sell direct to consumers. There's medical device manufacturers that sell directly to hospitals. There's also medical device manufacturers that sell to physicians. There's also, medical equipment and suppliers. There's DME. There's also medical device distributors. There's also extremely high ticket hospital, right? So like all these are segments, and you really got to know your market for this, right? And so when we actually go through this part in particular, we want to have different nurture sequences built out per segment, okay? And I'll say that again. We want to have different nurture sequences built out per segment. I usually like to do it based off of like the company size and the industry. Think about it like this. What we want to segment them by the problem that we think they're having. And in business, we know it's cyclical problems, right? Like companies that are 11 to 50 employees have usually this problem. Their sales team isn't as squared away, and they're really not having like a tremendous amount of success in scaling just yet, right? So like we know that where they're probably trying to figure out a few different things. 1 to 10, they're just trying to get like money in the door, right? So like there's different problems at each level and each segment. So that's what we really want to do, okay? So this is the very step one. Hopefully you guys understand that. I know I spent a lot of time on that, but hopefully that makes sense. So do it by industry, size, type of company, type of problem. Those are just some ideas, okay? Once it's segmented, put them into buckets, and now this is what it looks like, okay? So it's value, trust, and then objections. And we just continue this cycle. Okay, it doesn't have to be not in this order, but this is what books calls. When you actually build value, this is what gets them interested, but then they're very skeptical. Then you actually go through and build trust so they believe that what you just said is true, and then you handle whatever belief of objection that they have, because now they actually believe it, what you just said. If you handle their objection on that, you own them. That's how it is, right? And so I'll just show you an example of this. Can you guys see this? Crap, I don't think you can. Let me just zoom in. Here we go. Oh, I can't do that. And let's do this. All right, here we go. So this is, you could see just a quick lead magnet offer, right? So we do the offer. We made a quick video. Then we go through the actual social proof of that. And then, hey, can we send it over? We make it no brainer for them to say, yeah, sure, send it over. That's what we want, right? We want a small micro commitment there. I think a lot of people make a mistake where they put so much friction in front of people that it really hurts. Okay, and so boom. You can see this response. Hi, Ryan, great to connect. I would love to see it. Very simple, right? Just cool. So I said, great. I thought I sent this over to you already. Apologies for the delay. Here's the video. It's just a quick Loom video. And this lead magnet is like an actual marketing strategy. So it's very, very well thought out. Very, very, I probably spend like, I don't know, 25 minutes on each one when we're doing it like this. And they said, let us know your thoughts. This one is a big deal for us. Okay, so let us know your thoughts. We've changed up how we deliver this, but because it was a fairly large account, I stopped, or I was fine with this. So then no response. Okay, and let me see if we have the times here. We don't have the timestamps, but it's at least 2 days since they said, hey, hi Ryan, great to connect. I would love to see it. So in the actual lead magnet, this is important. I say, hey, we also have a bunch of other resources that might help you guys kind of evaluate if this is a good fit for you or not at this moment in time. We have a case study video that walks you through a specific case study that I mentioned in this particular video, and we also have a step-by-step guide. I don't want to bombard you with so much content right out of the gate, so let me know which one you'd like, and we can send that over. But looking forward to hearing your thoughts on this strategy. And so when we do that, it's called engagement bait. Once again, from Jeremy Haynes. You give them options of just value. It's like there's no rule that you can only send one lead magnet. In fact, if you stack them up, it's like building value constantly, right? So think about it like this. If you're watching Netflix, there's a bunch of shows. Maybe think back to your last Netflix show. Maybe the one that, the last one you binge watched. Maybe it's the first episode of Game of Thrones, or maybe the first episode of Breaking Bad. And you're watching it and you're like, you're not really hooked into anything yet. You see Jon Snow on the screen, you see Daenerys, you see like all the characters, but they don't impact you yet. You see the Lannisters, you see Tyrion, like you see all the characters, but there's no like actual connection yet. And so then, it's the first episode. But then you go through like episode 2 and 3, still maybe a little bit more. You're like starting to get into it a little bit, but it's not like anything crazy. And then next thing you know, season like 4 comes around, or episode 10, or whatever, I forget how it works. And you like are racing home, trying to get home so you can watch it on Sundays. And then, Jon Snow all of a sudden, dies, or he's the king of the north or something like that. And you're like actually sitting on the couch crying, right? It didn't happen. Like it's a whole nurturing process. It's like an actual growth process together, right? So think about your sales process the same way. Like you're a movie producer, you're a TV show, you're nurturing viewers to like start to watch your content in a little bit more of a way. But each touch point is like a video. It's like a show. It's just like a, I don't know. It's just like an episode. That's what I'm saying. Each one of these is an episode. So then when I mentioned in the last episode, I would just say, hey, did you get a chance to check out the video? I've got those 2 resources ready. Case study video, step-by-step guide. Let me know which one you'd like. I'll send it over right away. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Hi, Ryan. Set up a call to their CEO. And it just so happens, this lady, she's the COO. But I think what's important that what happened here, like I delivered a lot of value in this. Once they consumed it, they kind of like just like forgot maybe or whatever, but I could have lost the sale here. And that's where a lot of you guys, if you're doing cold outreach or you're running ads or you have your sales process now, you're losing deals because you're not offering value and you're just sounding salesy, right? So did you get a chance to check out the video? That's probably what a lot of people would say in this instance, and I get that. That's probably not my best line. I'm saying I've also came back and I've got those 2 resources ready for you. Case study video and step-by-step guide. Let me know which one you like. I'll send it right away. I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts. And that's just like getting more content out there in front of your prospects. And so for you, if you're a medical device company watching this, this is how selling is happening in 2025. Like your hospital decision makers, if that's your committees, if that's who you're targeting, like you need to have a plethora of content ready to go so your champions can just send them to the committee, right? You arm them to the teeth with all the information that they need to be able to make a decision. That is so crucial, okay? And, very simple. And this is like a great deal. And, well, actually, no, they didn't close yet, but I think we have the agreement signed or something. But I'm really excited about them just based off of this alone. So just to boil it down and just like show you that how it applies to the framework here, let me move this back over. Here we go. So when we segment the market aggressively, we now can create assets that have value, trust, and objections handling mixed into them, okay? So this is me bringing it full circle. So you can see here the 2 resources I have ready, the case study video. Which one of those, which here is that going to be? It's a combination of value, but it's mostly trust. Case study video of how we did something proves trust. It's also value, but it's mostly trust. Or the step-by-step guide, what is that? That's also value. But there's also a little trust component in there. It's like, oh, wow, they really know what they're doing, right? So what you want to do when you segment your market, you create all these sales assets, and then you map them based off of these categories. And you use these categories to make them, sales assets. The next follow-up that I would have sent to this person was going to be an objection handling piece of content. Because usually when they see our video and they see our strategy, they say, oh, well, that's not really our target market, Ryan. And I send them a video. I say, hey, look, maybe you're probably thinking that, look, it's not a total fit with your target market. We came up with that marketing strategy based off of what we could find out about you guys off your website. Okay. So if we are subtly like not lined up, chances are we can fix that. But also your messaging on your website, something on your website gave us the impression that this was your target market, which means we actually have to fix that as well. So it's not a matter of us, it's a matter of you. Like you kind of get the idea. I start handling the objection and I get them to consume content a little bit more, because if they're stuck on an objection, you have to handle it to actually further the sale. So this is how to nurture people properly. It's short, it's simple, it's easy to remember. And if you just use this framework, you are going to be in a really good spot. You could also use objections. You can substitute that with questions, but this is how we nurture. And if you segment your audience, you create assets that are aligned with this and you just offer them out as like engagement bait, this or this, you'll get a lot more responses, and a lot of people respond to you and not hate you because you're actually selling something, right? You're building trust, you're building value. So if you guys like this, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and we're going to keep sending out bangers. All right, see you guys.